אילו פינו מלא
היום נעשה משהו בלתי נשכח שישיר זיכרון של שמחה מבורך. היום אשלח יד ללטף את ראשך, היום אגרום לך סוף סוף לחייך. היום אגרש את העצב מעינייך, אעשה את היום למאושר בחייך. היום תשמעי מה שעוד לא שמעת, אחדש לך חידוש ואדליק לך מבט. היום אבא שלך משהו טעים, אעשה את הכל שיהיה לך נעים. נכון, לא תמיד אני מראה אהבה, אבל היום אני מבקש את הקרבה. היום כך הרבה זמן לא דיברנו שנינו על כל מה שעובר עלינו. היום נצא לסיבוב בשכונה, נשב קצת ביחד על ספסל בגינה. משהו בלתי נשכח, שהשיר זיכרון של שמחה מבורך. היום יש לך יד ללטף את ראשך, היום אגרום לך סוף סוף לחייך.
מודה אני לפניך ולך כל החסד והאמת והטובה והרעה והטובה שעשית עמדי ועם ביתי ועם קרוביי וידידיי ועם בני עמי ועם עמי ועם כל העולם והאדם אשר בראת. בלט חרש חרש עתת תופפות עתידות עתידות לקראתנו, ואת מחייכת אליי מתוך השינה. יהיה לנו טוב טוב פתאום טוב מאוד, זה מתחיל כבר בבוקר בבוקר. את צוחקת אליי מתוך השינה.
גם אחרי שהלכתי לך זה לא שינה, ומיד כשחזרתי הייתה לך הרגשה שאני עוד אוהב אותך, שאני כבר שלך, ואהבתי ושמחת וחשבת שרציתי להיות שם תמיד בשבילך, כי ידעתי שככה זה טוב, שלשניים יהיה יותר פשוט לאהוב, כל הדרך אני לצידך. גם אני עוד שומע וגם אני לא יודע איך עושים את זה, איך שזה לא קל לאהוב ללא תנאי.
Boker Tov, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. It's so nice to start together this morning of Shabbat. I invite you to open your Sidurim on page 186 as we together start this journey of personal and communal connection. Thanks to you, ever living sovereign, that you have restored my soul to me in mercy. How great is your trust. Take a moment to acknowledge our coming into this virtual sanctuary, into this space that we create together. Take a moment to acknowledge our Keilah Kedosha, our sacred community in its many forms. Those connecting with us in Zoom, those connecting with us through Facebook and YouTube, those from near, those from afar. And we learned that the definitions of near and afar are different of what we thought maybe a year and a half ago. And it's so nice to feel you close, to feel the proximity of our community. We're on page 192. אני תפילתי לך, אדוני את רצון, אלוהים ברוב חסדך, ענני באמת אישך. We continue on page 194 with the blessing for the well functioning of our bodies. I invite you to follow the words of our tradition, but also to think about your body, to think about maybe a special part of your body that needs focus, that needs attention in this morning. As we work on this connection between our bodies and our souls, to become aware of your breath. Our breathing that happens in every single moment of our existence is also a portal to our spiritual existence, to what is eternal in our existence. Through our neshima, breath, we connect with our neshama, with our soul. I invite you to take a deep breath as we turn our theory into page 196 for the blessing for our souls.
נשמה שנתת בי טהורה היא אלוהי נשמה שנתת בי טהורה היא אתה בראת, אתה יצרת, אתה נפחת בי, ואתה משמרה בקרבי, ואתה עתיד נפלא ממני ולהסירני ועתיד לאור. כל הזמן שנשמה בקרבי הנשמה בקרבי, מודה אני לפניך. אדוני, אלוהי ואלוהי אבותיי, אלוהי, אדוני ואלוהי אבותיי. המעשים, אדון כל הנשמות, ריבון כל המעשים,
Adonai, in whose hand is every living soul and the breath of humankind. ברוך אתה אדוני אשר בידו נפש כל חי ורוח כל בשר איש. We turn our Siurim to page 198 for the blessings for the daily miracles, Birkot HaShachar. And as we repeat the words of our tradition, I invite you to think about what blessings you need to be particularly intentional about them. I can tell you, for example, I've been dealing over the last 3 days with a terrible pain in my knee, and finally yesterday night the treatment kicked and it's working. I feel more comfortable standing. So when I chant today to strengthen our steps, I will be thinking about my knee, because sometimes we need the absence of something that is functioning well in order to realize how dependent we are on that. So as we enter Shabbos morning, and every morning we try to be mindful of our bodies, mindful of our spirits, and we try to acknowledge the many things that we sometimes take for granted. Page 198.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who has given the mind the ability to distinguish day from night.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who opens the eyes of the blind.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who frees the captive.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who lifts up the fallen.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai
we're back.
Eloheinu melech haolam, who stretches the earth over the waters.
Gives me a firm ground to step on. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who strengthens our steps.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who clothes the naked.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who gives strength to the weary.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who removes sleep from the eyes, slumber from the eyelids.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, שעשני בצלם אלוהים.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who has made me free.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who has made me a Jew.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who girds Israel with strength.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Oter Israel Betihfarah, who crowns Israel with splendor. Page 204, the blessing for the study of Torah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah. O Adonai our God, let the words of Torah be sweet in our mouths and the mouths of your people Israel, so that we, your descendants, and the descendants of all your people Israel may know you, by studying our Torah for its own sake. Blessed are you, Adonai, who teaches Torah to your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, hamelamed Torah le'amo Yisrael. We continue on page 206 in English. These are things that are limitless, of which a person enjoys the fruit of the world, while the principle remains in the world to come. They are honoring one's father and mother, engaging in deeds of compassion, arriving early for study morning and evening, dealing graciously with guests, visiting the sick, providing for the wedding couple, accompanying the dead for burial, being devoted in prayer, and making peace among people. But the study of Torah encompasses them all.
We turn our Siurim to page 212 for the blessing for the Psukei de Simra, the verses of praise.
Baruch Shabbat ve'aya haolam, Baruch Hu, Baruch Shabbat, Baruch Hoseh Bereshit, Baruch Omer ve'oseh, Baruch
life in the universe. One God, life of the universe, praise the glorious ruler. Your name is eternal. מלך מעולל, בתשבחות. מלך מעולל, בתשבחות. ברוך אתה, אדוני, מלך מעולל, בתשבחות. On page 214, מזמור שיר ליום השבת, Psalm 92. מזמור שיר, שיר ליום השבת. 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 מזמור שיר, שיר ליום אשרי העם שככה לו, אשרי העם שאדוני אלוהיו, אשרי העם שככה לו, אשרי העם שאדוני אלוהיו. אשרי העם שככה לו, אשרי העם שאדוני אלוהיו, אשרי העם שככה לו, אשרי העם שאדוני אלוהיו. אשרי יושבי ביתך עוד יהללוך סלה. אשרי יושבי ביתך עוד יהללוך סלה. אשרי העם שככה לו, אשרי העם שאדוני אלוהיו, אשרי העם שככה לו, אשרי העם שאדוני אלוהיו. תהילת לדוד, תרוממך לו היה מלך, ויברך שמך לעולם בהן.
בכל יום אברכך וללה שמך לעולם בהן.
גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, וגדולתו אין חקר.
דולדו ישבח מעשיך וגבורותיך יגידו.
עד על כבודותיך בדברי נפלאותיך עשיך.
וזוז נורותיך יאמרו גדולתך ספרנה.
זכר הטובך יביאו בצדקתך ינעננו.
חנון ורחום אדוני, ערך אפיים וגדול חסד.
טוב אדוני לכל ורחמיו על כל מעשיו.
יודוך אדוני כל מעשיך וחסידיך יברכוך.
כבוד מלכותך יאמרו בגבורתך ידברו.
להודיע לבני האדם גבורותיו וכבוד הדר מלכותו.
מלכותך מלכות כל עולמים, וממשלתך בכל דור ודור.
סומך אדוני לכל הנופלים, וזוקף לכל הכפופים.
הנה כל אליך ישברו, ואתה נותן להם את אוכלהם ואיתו.
פותח את ידיך, ומשביע לכל חי רצון.
צדיק אדוני בכל דרכיו, וחסיד בכל מעשיו.
קרוב אדוני לכל קרב, לכל אשר יקראו ואמת.
רצון אליו יעשה, ושבתם משמה ויושיעם.
שומר אדוני את כל אוהביו, ואת כל השעים ישמיד. תהילת אדוני ידבר בי, יברך כל בשר שם קודשו. לעולם, לעולם בהם אנחנו נברך ימי אתה ועד עולם. הללויה, הללויה, תהילת אדוני ידבר בי ויברך בשר שם קודשו לעולם, לעולם בהם אנחנו נברך ימי אתה ועד עולם. הללויה, 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 אנחנו נברך ימי אתה ועד עולם. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah. Page 218, Psalm 150. כל הנשמה זה הללויה, הללויה, כל הנשמה זה הללויה, הללויה,
God of the first and the last, God of all creatures, Master of all generations, who is praised in a multitude of praises, who guides the world with abundant loving kindness, and all creatures with mercy. Adonai neither slumbers nor sleeps. God awakens the sleeping, arouses those who slumber, gives speech to the mute. And God loosens the bonds of captives. God supports the fallen and strengthens those who are bent over. You alone do we acknowledge. We're on page 220.
וידינו פרוסות, כי נשרי שמיים ורגלינו קלות כירוק. אין אנחנו מספיקים להודות לך ולברך את שמך דרכנו. אין אנחנו מספיקים להודות לך ולברך את שמך מלך מלכי המלכים, מלך מלכי המלכים, מלך מלכי המלכים.
נופינו על השיר הקיים ולשוננו רינה בידינו פרוסות כנשרי שמיים ורגלינו קלות כאיילות. על השיר הקיים ולשוננו רינה בידינו פרוסות כנשרי שמיים ורגלינו קלות כאיילות. Every heart will revere you, and every inmost thought will sing to your name. Let all my bones exclaim, who is like you, Adonai? Bless Adonai, O my soul, and let my inner being praise your holy name. God, in the power of your strength, great in the glory of your name, mighty forever, awesome in amazing deeds, the ruler who sits on high, an exalted throne, Shochen Ad. We are on page 222.
שוכן עד מרום וקדוש שמו, וכתוב רננו צדיקים באדוני, לישרים נבוא תהילה, בפי ישרים תתהלל, ובדברי צדיקים תתברך, ובלשון חסידים תתרומם, ובקרב קדושים תתקדש. ומקלות ריבות עמך בית ישראל, ורינה יתפאר שמך מלכנו, בכל דור ודור. ישתבח שמך לעד מלכנו, האל המלך הגדול והקדוש בשמיים ובארץ. כי לך נאה אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו ואמותינו, שושבך לב וזמרה, עוז וממשלה, נצח, גדולה, גבורה, תהילה ותפארת, קדושה ומלכות, ברכות והודאות, מעתה ועד עולם. ברוך אתה אדוני, אל מלך גדול בתשבחות, אל ההודאות אדון הנפלאות, הבוחר בשירי זמרה, מלך מלכי העולמים. יתקדש ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא יברך חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומייכון ובחיי כל בית ישראל. בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך, לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי דקודשה בריחו, לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן בעלמא, ואמרו אמן.
Return our study now to page 226. As we rise, as we lift up our spirits for Barhu, for the blessing that opens the gates the Shema, for that exclamation of unity with God, and also with each of those that are created in its image.
Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam vaed.
ברוך אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם יוצר אור ובורא חושך עושה שלום ובורא את הכל המאיר לארץ ולדברים עליה ורחמים המאיר לארץ ולדברים עליה ורחמים ובטובו מחדש בכל יום תמיד מסע בראשית מה רבו מסך אדוני כולם בחוכמה עשית מלוא הארץ קנייניך קנייניך על ציון תאיר ונזכה כולנו ונעלה אור ירלי לי 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 אתה אדוני יוצר המאורות page 230 אמר אהבת אדוני אלוהינו חמלה גדולה ויתרה חמלת עלינו Holy pray you have loved us Adonai our God raising us with surpassing compassion מהרר עינינו בתורתך מדבק ליבנו במצוותיך Lighten our eyes with Torah focus our minds on your mitzvot unite our hearts in love and reverence for your name then we will never feel shame never deserve rebuke and never stumble guide us in peace from the four corners of the earth and lead us upright to our land. For you, God, who work wonders, you chose us. Truly, you drew us near to your great name that we might acknowledge you, declaring you one in love. I invite you to put the four corners of your tallit together as a symbol of our search for internal and also communal unity. Not uniformity, but unity. Praise be you, Adonai, who chooses your people Israel in love. Baruch atah Adonai, הבוחר בעמו ישראל באהבה.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. We continue with Ve'ahavta on page 234. Please join me. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavcha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadevarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. We continue in English, middle of page 236. Adonai said to Moses as follows, "Speak to the Israelite people and instruct them to make for themselves fringes on the corners of their garments throughout the ages. Let them attach a cord of blue to the fringe at each corner. That shall be your fringe. Look at it and recall all the commandments of Adonai and observe them, so you do not follow your heart and eyes in your lustful urge. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אמת.
אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. אמת ביציב ואהוב, בחביב, בנורא, באדיר, בטוב, ביפה הדבר עשה לנו לעולם בהד. אמת אלוהי עולם מלכנו, צור יעקב מגן אישנו. From Egypt you redeem us, frame us from bondage. For that your beloved sang praise, exalting you. Your dear ones offer hymns, songs, praise, blessing, and thanksgiving to you as sovereign, the living and enduring God, high and exalted, great and awesome. Whoever humbles the proud, raises the lowly, frees the imprisoned, redeems the afflicted, helps the oppressed, answering our people when we cry out. Praise to God Most High. Blessed is God and deserving of blessing. In great joy, Moshe, Miriam, and all Israel responded with song to you, all of them proclaiming, "Who is like you, O God? Mi chamocha, Ma'elim Adonai." We're on page 240. יחד כולם הודו והמליכו ועמנו אדוני נמלוך בעולם בארץ כבוד ישראל קומה ושאת ישראל עובדנו מחייב בישראל גואלנו אדוני צבאות שמו קדוש ישראל ימא לי 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 invite you to turn to Jerusalem as we prepare for Tfilat Amidah, as we enter Tfilat Amidah, as we try to find our center, we try to find the words that sometimes we really struggle to articulate. We ask our prayers to help us find our words, to help us connect with our feelings, with those things that we really need, with those things that we are really yearning for.
Adonai, שפתי תפתח, ופי יגיד תהילתך. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל העליון גומר חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה.
תגיבור לעולם, אדוני, לחיי מתים אתה, רב ליושיע. אשר הרוח ומוריד הטל. מחלחל חיים בחסד, חיי מתים ברחמים רבים. צורך נופלים ברופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים. הוא מקיים אמונת בו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבולות ומי דומה לך. מלך מימית ומחיה ומצמיח ישוע. די 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 ידה די די ידה די ידה די ידה די ידה די 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 די. ולמען התיה לחיות מתים, ברוך אתה אדוני לחיי מתים.
נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאך. לקדש את זה ואמר, קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות, מלך כל הארץ, תבוא ברוחך אלוהינו, מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
יזמחו, מלכותך שומרי שבת, וכל יונק כשש ביהי, וכולם יסבירו וינתנגו מטובך. וזה תקדש את הימים ותגלת השכל מעשה וראשית. לא נבלה רבותינו ואמותינו, רצה מנוחתנו קדשנו מצוותיך ותחלקנו בתורתך, עשרנו מטובך בשמחתך. ודבר לבנו לעבדך, ובאמת מקרינו אדוני אלוהינו באהבה וברצון שבת קודשך, יניחו בה מקדשי שמך ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבח, רצה אדוני אלוהינו בנך ישראל, בתפילתם באהבה תקבל, בתהילה רצון תמיד עבודת ישראל עמך, אל קרוב לכל קורב. פונה עלינו בשמך לציון רחמים, ברוך אתה אדוני המחזיר שכינתו לציון ברחמים, מודים אנחנו לך שאתה אדוני אלוהינו ולאבותינו ואמותינו לעולם ועד. ולכולם ידעו עליו, אמרנו, שמך מלכנו תמיד לעולם בה, וכולם ידעו חסד לו, שמך באמת. שלום טובה וברכה, חיים בחסד וברחמים, עלינו ועל כל ישראל עמך ברכנו. ולרצון אמרי פי, בהגיון ליבי, לפניך אדוני צורי וגואלי. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, Adonai, my rock and my redeemer. We are at the bottom of page 260. Shalom עלינו ועל כל ישראל, אמן.
עושה שלום, שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, amen.
Before we move into Torah service, I see a very special face in Zoom, so I want to take a moment to, just on time, to acknowledge the Sireh, who is celebrating a very, very important birthday. Can we converse 1 second? Can we unmute Rabbi Miriam and Desiree, the two of them? Desiree, how old are you turning? We know because we post. How old? 100 years old. Is it? Now I want to tell you, she's an artist. She's always busy. She's a musician. I think the last time we met was just a few weeks before the pandemic hit, and you came by to bring some pieces of art that you were working on. You were doing you had an exhibition at the time, and I understand that now the gates of your home are open again. So I look forward to go and pay a visit there. And I know that there are other TBT friends there, so we might have like an entire afternoon together. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm so glad to see you here. It's so nice to have your light, your spirit, your art, your creation as a part of what we consider our family. It's so nice and so beautiful to have you with us also in this morning of Shabbat. So we say Ad Mea. So in Hebrew we say Ad Mea Be'esrim, and sometimes we say Ad Mea Kesrim, to 100 years old, like if you were 20 years old. And in your case, I think kind of works. The Mea Kesrim, the 100 years old, like 20 years old. So we pray for many more years of creation, of art, of love and light coming from you, from your spirit, from your soul. Congratulations, Yom Holedet Sameach, Mazal Tov, and thank you for stopping by the shul in this morning of Shabbos and to give us the opportunity to congratulate you. Miriam, you want to say a word before? You spoke with her, but anyway, if you want to say a public word before we take the Torahs from the ark. Maybe Rabbi. Yes, go ahead.
Rabbi Miriam, did you have something you wanted to share?
Met Desiree when I was a teenager. I grew up with her daughter, and it's been such a joy to be part of her life's journey over these last 50 plus years. And Desiree, we all here at TBT wish you, as your extended family, continued good health, blessings, and joy as you continue to add your brightness to the world and to all whom you meet. And certainly you bring blessing to each one you touch, just as you create artwork and illuminate the world with your artistry, so you touch every soul that you come in contact with. So we are happy to celebrate this milestone with you. And the article that was in the Register doesn't even begin to describe the richness of your life. So continued good blessings.
Thank you so much, Miriam. I'm really, truly blessed.
Mazel Tov. Now, yes, Desiree, thank you for being here. We will now take the Torahs from the ark, our written legacy. We are turning our Sidurim to page 362.
אין כמוך האלוהים, אדוני, ואין כמעשיך, מלכותך מלכות כל עולמים, וממשלתך בכל דור ודור. אדוני מלך, אדוני מלך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם. לעמו ישראל בקדושתו. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד, אחד אלוהינו, גדול אדוננו, קדוש שמו. גדול אדוני איתי, ונרוממה שמו יחדיו.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Good Shabbos. Coming back to my position in a second. Let's put Torah in this. It's a bit more comfortable for me. This is so nice to have the opportunity to see your faces in Shabbat. I don't get used to it right yet. I know it's already a couple of months that we have like this Zoom interaction. I can see some of your faces, but still very grateful for this. And every time anew, it brings very positive emotions to me. And also, it's very nice to know that many other friends are connecting with us on Facebook and YouTube. So I invite you to drop a message saying Good Shabbos and try to let us know that you're here. We really appreciate knowing that you have come. So yesterday, we spoke about, we have a double sidra this weekend, this Shabbat. We have Acharei Mot, Kedoshim. Now, yesterday we spoke about one of the topics that emerges from Parashat Acharei Mot. Today I want to focus on Parashat Kedoshim. And I see you, Mitch, here. I know it's one of your favorites. One of your favorite Torah portions. I remember us having a long session about this, the contents of this Torah portion in Shavuot a couple of years ago in the library. There were other Jews there, but I remember the conversation with you because we prepared together some of the stuff then. So Shavuot is around the corner. For those that want to participate in learning, we let you know we are already preparing our Sinai lounge. We'll tell you more about that later. So I want to share something that happened to me. I was I prepared for this Torah portion to speak about a very specific mitzvah that I will remind to you and I will share with you. But then I realized that, and this came to me for the first time, that that there is a bigger context for all these mitzvot. Do you know how many mitzvot we have in this Torah portion? Give me a number. There are many. Who says more than 15? More than 15. Who says more than 30? Now don't cheat, don't Google. More than 30. More than 40. Okay, I see Mark Silverstein and Rabbi Miriam saying a bit more, a bit more. More than 50? 51. 51 mitzvot. So, I wanted just to talk about one of them. Mitzvat Pe'ah. Have you heard about Mitzvat Pe'ah? Now, let me tell you something. When I said to my wife, I think I will be speaking Shabbat about Mitzvat Pe'ah, she asked me, why are you going to talk in Shabbat about weeks? The reason is because they have the exact same sound in Hebrew, and I was like, no, Mitzvah Pe'ah, the mitzvah of not reaping the corners of your field. It's a very important mitzvah. Now, how do you define the corner? How much is a corner of your field? The Torah doesn't define that. The Torah has no definition for that. But later on, the Mishnah in Pe'ah, which is an entire section of the Mishnah, defines how much one is supposed to live. And the Mishnah says, no less, and this is not the tithe, okay? This is not the asirit. No less than 1/6 of your field needs to be left as a corner. Now, what we are talking about this mitzvah that says that there is a portion of your field that you need to refrain from reaping, refrain from touching, even almost refrain from visiting, so you allow those that are in need in your society to go and take from there. You're not supposed to be there. You're not supposed to touch anything from there. According with the law of Torah, and of course later on with the rabbinical law, that space is supposed to be left that way. And the Mishnah says that this is one of the things that Ein Lahem Shiur. Exactly as we read every morning, all these things that Ein Lahem Shiur, that there's no way to measure them. Mitzvat Pe'ah, the fulfillment of the commandment of Pe'ah, there's no measurement for it. And they explain. They say, well, if there is many poor people in your town, you might need to live with more than 1/6. If there's a difficult time, if you are coming out of a pandemic, you may need some special contributions because people are in need. So there's a sense of responsibility, of deep responsibility. Now, I was thinking about this mitzvah, and this idea that you actually have a power, you actually have a privilege. You are wealthy, you have something to give to others. That's a power. When we have something to give to others, that's power. When we can offer something to someone else, I see the question from Henry Cohen, if we have no fields, how much do we give? We can talk about that, Henry, later. If you need PA advice, happy to engage in that conversation. But you know what, that's a very good question, right? How we apply this law into, because the question behind what Henry is asking is how we take this law into our lives. And I will try to give you an idea when I speak about the larger context. So we have this power of giving something to someone, of offering something from ourselves and say, no, this is yours, because we have things that belong to us. Now, we often in our lives feel powerless. And feeling powerless is often a justification in order to refrain from doing all things. We can't deal with this. This is too complicated. It's a very common human experience to feel powerless. And we're not talking about feeling powerless because we are humble. We are talking about feeling powerless because we are overwhelmed or because it's uncomfortable to engage in certain things. So we detach, we disconnect ourselves from certain situations. Now, I believe that most or many of the mitzvot that we read about in Parashat Kedoshim have to do with the exercise of power, of skills. A few examples. A judge must not prevent justice. If a man who is powerful and is close to the judge, and the other one not so powerful and not so close to the judge must not prevent justice and needs to exercise his power with equality. Another example, do not speak derogatorily, evil language of your friends. And in that same context, so you don't use the power of speech negatively. And in the same context, lo tekalel hiresh. Don't insult a deaf person. You have the power of speech. This person has no power to hear. Don't insult. But it goes also about speaking behind someone's back. In the same context. Lifnei iver lo tasim michshol. Don't place an obstacle before a blind person. Now, yes, we could say that we are literally speaking about a blind person and a physical obstacle. But we also can say that we are talking about social situations in which we tempt fellow human beings for our own benefit, knowing or using things that we know that are weaknesses of their character. That's also to place an obstacle before a blind person. Manipulation for the sake of personal benefit is to place an obstacle before a blind person. We go back to the mitzvah of Don Rov. There are many mitzvot. One of them, for example, a very important one, and those that have been treasures of TVT, you know that we always have that in mind, is that you are not supposed to hold the wages of your employee for even one night. You cannot go sleep with someone else's money. You need to pay. And it is because you have a power over that person, and you are holding something that belongs to that person, and it comes also in the context of you're like stealing even if you don't mean to. You can't say, well, nothing happens, I'll give it to him or to her next week. No, you need to be in a rush. You can't hold that power. Now, the word that came to my mind is the word privilege. Now, the word privilege is a very political word in our days. Who has privilege? How we use that privilege? Now, the word privilege is not a negative one. It is sometimes use in order to accuse fellow human beings, and that's very problematic. That's when I use the word privilege to explain your actions or to explain your behavior, that's problematic. When I use the word privilege to explain or try to understand how I'm supposed to exercise the powers that I have, I think that means to seek the wisdom of Torah. Not in order to accuse fellow people, but in order to seek how to be a better citizen and a better human being. Now, the reason the word privilege came to my mind is because when we are thankful for a mitzvah, for the fulfillment of a mitzvah, in Hebrew, the answer that we give is "Ze zchut avori." Is this a privilege for me? We use the word privilege. I feel privileged to have the ability to fulfill mitzvot, to use the powers that have been given to have a positive effect in the world. Now, nobody needs to tell you what mitzvot you need to do, but it has to do with our ability to seek for those opportunities. Now, there are so many mitzvot. How many? Who say 600? Perfect. 613. But sometimes it gets difficult to remember all of them. So what do you do? How do you deal with this? How do you remember all these places in which you are supposed to be exercising your power and your privilege? The one that is self-recognized. The one that we want to experience as a positive situation, as a positive thing in our ability to increase good in the world. How do you know? And here there is one of the last mitzvot in this Torah portion, and is Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. And Sefer HaChinuch, which is it's a book that counts and explains every single mitzvah in the Torah, brings from the Talmud, Shabbat, page 31a, and brings a citation from Rabbi Akiva. When Rabbi Akiva is asked, Rabbi, what's, in your opinion, Klal Gadol BaTorah, the most important principle in the entire Torah, he says, Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. You shall love your neighbor as yourself, as you love yourself. And this is how he explains this. He says, what's the foundation for don't steal, don't kill, don't covet? Relate to your employee as an equal and make sure that you always pay in time, that you act with generosity. What's the foundation for you to understand that you have been blessed with lots of wealth, but there are portions of that wealth that you don't even need to look at, so other people don't feel shame and can take and can sustain themselves? What's the foundation for all that? Rabbi Akiva says, love. The foundation for all these mitzvot that are between human beings, ben adam lechavero, shall be love. And then you'll know. If we approach our interactions, all our interactions, asking ourselves, and this is a difficult exercise, asking ourselves, am I loving this person right now? This person that is annoying me, or this person that I don't even know. And maybe the word is not loving, maybe the word is, am I being empathetic? Am I seeing a reflection of myself in this person? If we adopt that exercise, we're going to very likely get closer to fulfill more and more mitzvot just by internalizing this very important principle. And then we will be privileged in our privileges. And we will bring more well-being, more love to this world by exercising the powers that we have been given. Shabbat Shalom. We will get started with the reading of the Sidra of the Torah portion, Acharei Mot Kedoshim. And I'll share with you an interesting thing while I'm moving away and Gabi is looking for the reading. I'm done. What? Okay, so I will, Zach, tell me where you want me to move so I can communicate. Here, okay. And I need to look at there. Okay. So an interesting thing about this Torah portion is that some people over the last couple of years stop even realizing that there are different Torah portions. And we say Acharei Mot Kedoshim, and because we know that Acharei Mot is referring to Aaron's son, we say after the death of this sacred Kedoshim, of these holy human beings, holy people. But then, what's the next Torah portion? Emor, you shall say. You put the three of them together, this is how it goes. Acharei Mot, after the death, Kedoshim, they are holy, you shall say. And it brings us to other mitzvah, which is the mitzvah of Hesped, and trying to bring positive memories of the deceased, of the person who has passed away. And that's a very problematic topic. It's not always possible. But if we just take Aaron's children, I think that for them, when we think of them, and when we think of their beginning and also their exposure, and you could say their negligence, we can also understand how young they were, how passionate they were, and so we can tell, we can say, we can refer to them as if they were, because they were holy human beings. Acharei Mot Kedoshim, you shall say. When you're ready.
I am.
Marco, Miriam, who is going to be our Gavai? Here you go, Mark.
V'yamdu Herschel ben Avraham HaKohen. Someone who knows a lot about giving, our former president and constant contributor to Temple Beth Tikvah, Henry Cohen. And reading will be Daphne Guterman.
Baruchu et Adonai HaBarach.
Baruch Adonai Mevarach L'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaBarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bacha banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
אמן. וידבר אדוני אל משה אחרי מות שני בני אהרון בקרבתם לפני אדוני וימותו. ויאמר אדוני אל משה דבר אל אהרון אחיך ואל יבוא בכל עת אל הקודש מבית לפרוכת אל פני הכפורת אשר על אהרון ולא ימות כי בענן אראה על הכפורת. בזאת יבוא אהרון אל הקודש בפר בן בקר לחטאת ועיל לעולם.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher notan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam notah b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Yam Tu, Abraham ben Abraham v'Sarah, Esther bat Abraham v'Sarah, Owen and Teresa Zhao, and reading will be Rabbi Miriam Ben Ralt.
Mute. Baruch atah Adonai Chamorai.
Baruch Adonai Mevarach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Chamra Leolam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikochavim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
I'm chanting in honor of the 100th birthday of Desiree Engel. Amen. Titonet bad kodesh yilbash umichnasei vad yiyu al besaro uvavnet bad yakor uvmit nefet bad yitznov bigdei kodesh hem verachatz bamayim et besaro uvesham Ume'et adat b'nei Yisrael yikach shnei seirei izim lechatat ve'ayil echat leolam v'hikriv Aharon et parachatat asher lo v'chiper ba'ado uve'et beito.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah hamet v'chayei olam natan b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Yam Tu, Aliyah Shlishi, Moshe Yerachmiel ben Avraham, the Honorable Mitchell Goldberg. And reading will be Mark Filowitz.
Baruch hu et Adonai HaMevarach.
Baruch Adonai Mevarach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMevarach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'notan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. V'lakach et shnei hasirim v'yemid otam lifnei Adonai v'tachach el moed v'natan Aharon al shnei hasirim giralot goral achad l'Adonai v'gora echad l'Azazel v'hikrav Aharon et hashair asher Allah alav Agora l'Adonai v'yasahu chatach.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam notah b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Yam Tu, Seidel Rivka bat Shmuel V'Leah, my partner over these many past years at TBT, Lila Pesner. And reading the Maftir will be our own cantorial fellow, Gabriel Newman.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvara.
Baruch Adonai mevarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol hamim. V'tenen lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. V'hivdaltem beno behema tehora l'tamea uvein ha'of ha'tameh letahor v'lo tishkatzu et nafshoteichem b'behema uve'of uvecho asher tirmos ha'adama asher hivdalti. Asher hivdalti lachem l'tameh v'haytem li kedoshim ki kadosh ani Adonai ve'avdil etchem min ha'amim להיות לי ואיש או אישה כי יחיה בהם אוב או ידעוני מות יומתו באבן ירגמו אותם דמיהם בה.
Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam natan betocheinu baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Gabriel, and Laila, and all those that came up to the Torah. We take a moment to acknowledge all those that came up to the Torah in honor of Torah and Shabbat and our beloved congregation. We say, Yisherach Avotenu V'Imateinu, may the one who bless our ancestors, we will bless all those who came up to the Torah. May the blessed Holy One give you its blessing of protection, rescue from any trouble or distress, and from illness, minor or serious. May God send blessing and success in all your endeavors, together with all Israel. And let us say,
Amen.
We also take a moment to acknowledge people dealing with illness. We think of those dealing with illness in their bodies, in their souls. We think of those dealing with addictions. If you have a name that you'd like to share in this morning of Shabbos, we encourage you to do so. ישברך אבותינו ואמותינו, אברהם יצחק ויעקב, שרה רבקה רחל ולאה, הוא יברך את החולים. May the one who bless our ancestors will bless those who are ill. May the blessed Holy One be filled with compassion for their health to be restored and their strength to be revived. May God swiftly send them a complete renewal of body and spirit. And let us say,
Amen.
Amen. בסוד התורה אשר שם משה לפני שני בני ישראל על פי אדוני ביד משה. לקח טוב נתתי לכם את תורתי אל תעזבו את חייבי מחסי כמעט השיבנו אדוני אליך ונשובה חדש ימינו כקדם. שיבנו אדוני אליך ונשובה. Return us to you, God, and we will return. We are on page 586 for עלינו לשבח.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי ארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגהר עלינו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו
At this point, we take a moment to acknowledge mourners among our community. We invite you to connect with the memories of your beloved ones as we recognize those during the first 7 days of mourning, Shiva, those during the first 30 days of mourning, Shloshim, and those during the cycle of the first year of mourning. We invite you to share the names of your beloved ones in the comments on Zoom, Facebook, and YouTube. We also invite those who are commemorating the anniversary of someone's passing by this time of the year in years past to share the names of your family members. I see Mark here, who is during the cycle of the first year for his brother. I see Judy here. Am I missing anyone during the cycle of the first year sitting in this room, in the Zoom room at least?
Joe Angiano, first year.
You. Gabi is saying Kaddish for the father of her partner, her beloved partner, Joy. And now we turn our study to page 586 for Kaddish Avelim, mourner's Kaddish.
598. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabah, ve'almad yivarach yiruteh v'yamlich malchuteh, v'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, v'agalau v'zman kariv v'yimru
Amen.
amen.
Yehei
Shemei rabah mevorach le'olam u'lmei al-maya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitale v'yithalar shemei d'kodesha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma v'yimru.
Amen.
Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru.
Amen.
Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'yimru. Amen.
May the memories of your beloved ones be always a blessing in your life. Yeh Zichram Baruch. Maybe seated. Okay, two important announcements. On May 1st, we will be celebrating Yom Ha'atzmaut. So, I don't know what happened. Lag BaOmer, and we will be also celebrating the memory of our beloved emeritus Rabbi Chaim Asa. It's going to be an Havdalah with a concert performed by mostly kosher band, which it was one of Rabbi Asa's favorite bands. And we'll have family activities, we'll have fire pits. We are working on bringing a pizza truck. Gabi is very happy about that. We notice your eyes. Actually, Rabbi Miriam said to me, did you notice like how happy was Gabi? So it turns out that
pizza.
Gabi loves pizza. I didn't know. I didn't know. So now the people of Israel knows. And so we'll have hopefully a pizza truck preparing some, the offerings of Shavuot. The offering of Shavuot is wheat, it's flour. And it's the only offering that is actually a vegetarian one in our tradition. And we also eat dairy products. So pizza is a good combination. And of course, for those that would like to, we will have some malt and some beer, which is also part of the offering for Shavuot. And we believe it will be a wonderful afternoon.
Did you want to mention the medieval times aspect?
That we're gonna get there in a moment. That's also very important to Gabriel, because we are encouraging people that feel comfortable doing so to dress up like medieval times, right? Because the images of Lag BaOmer with the fire pit just took me back to the event of Lag BaOmer. So back to Lag BaOmer for one moment. We will have also fire pits and archery and all kind of games. So we encourage you, if you want to dress up like a klezmer in honor of the band, or a knight or a princess or an archer in honor of Lag BaOmer, to go for it. I can tell you that my children, since the publicity came out, for some reason they actually read it, and they have been driving me insane, saying, Dad, we don't have this kind of customs. We need to get them now. So they are taking that very seriously, which might end up with me taking that seriously, and I hope that you don't leave me alone if I do.
I won't.
So once I know you won't. I know you won't. So which is, thank God, Gabriel.
You're welcome.
Okay, so with all that say, with the first Lag BaOmer and memorial gathering in honor of our emeritus rabbi, and on the 16th, Shavuot, our Sinai launch, and of course on the 17th in the morning we will have a service with Iskor. We encourage you to join us for all these activities. For those that are connecting from afar, we will have a hybrid model working, so we'll make sure that we can't take care of the pizza, or we are not yet prepared to provide you with pizza if you are connecting Johnny from San Francisco. But we can make sure that for many of the things that we will do, there are going to be opportunities for connection in a virtual way. So we'll try, and I'm quite confident that that will work. I invite you to turn your series to page 632. As we conclude our service with the words of this beautiful poem, Einadir.
Ador Kadonai Elazar Keben Abraham En Sahaka Kahatorah En Chachamea Israel Mipiel Mipiel Yevorach Kol Israel Mipiel Mipiel Yevorach Kol Israel Adonai, ואין צדיק כבן אברהם, אין קדושה כתורה, ואין תומכיה כישראל. מפיהם, מפיהם, יבורך כל ישראל. מפיהם, מפיהם, יבורך כל ישראל. Where we use our blessings, our powers, increase well-being in our world. Adonai os lamo iten. Adonai yevarech et amo b'shalom. Good Shabbos everyone. Shabbat shalom.
For a little bit.
Need to look at this